and color. Of calm and quiet. Of stretching plains and an endless sky. Montana is a land of forests and lakes and mountains. There is a self-contained other world where bear and elk go quietly. Baby moose grow up fast, and the river's roar covers all other sounds. This is Montana. Explorers, black-robed teachers, trappers. Men came to Montana for many reasons, but it was not until gold was discovered that they came in numbers. A man might still find a fortune in Montana's pay dirt. Grasshopper Creek, Alder Gulch, Confederate Gulch, Last Chance Gulch, Emigrant Gulch, Snowshoe Gulch. Rich diggings while they lasted. Good men and bad men came. Vigilante justice was violent and quick. So much is unchanged, the past seems like yesterday. We know how it was. We call by name those men who came early. We know who started poor and ended with millions. We know what they did and the towns they made. We know the men who were bound to hard duty, and we know the men who were bound to their land and their people. We've seen unchanging dignity over a lifetime of change. Many people have gone into the making of Montana. She's claimed their lives and loyalty, but all that they have built has been founded on her land. Air masses move in from the west, sometimes from the north. Air flows across the land, rising over the mountains and spilling down to the east. The belt of air which wraps the earth is deep. It is strong. It has weight, and it can carry a load. 10 air terminals, 3 airlines, 1,500 miles of air route. This is the Montana airline system. We use it every day of the year and measure distance in hours instead of miles. Western flies north and south. Frontier from the south to Billings. Northwest flies east and west. Every day the airlines make their scheduled stops. Cutbank, Kalispell, Bozeman, Butte, Miles City, Lewistown, Helena, Billings, Great Falls, Missoula. At the Billings Airport, airmail is sorted at an airmail post office. At Great Falls, shipments of Air Express increase every year. Still, the greatest single use of the airplane is the transportation of people. People fly to Montana from all over, from Chicago and points east, from Denver and Salt Lake, from Spokane and Seattle, Calgary and Edmonton. People fly to Montana on business. They fly after they get here because it's a practical way to get around. Business stops may be miles apart and time is often important. Men in the oil business use the airlines, charter airplanes, and use their own. Montana is an oil state from North Dakota to the Rockies. Montana mines copper. In Butte, early rising miners go to work. Montana is a mining state, too, and Butte the miner's town. Gold and lead, silver and zinc, coal and manganese are mined from the earth for men to use. People fly to Montana on vacation. They fly because it's quick, easy, and fun. You enter Yellowstone National Park from Montana through Silver Gate, Gardner, or West Yellowstone. Over 3,000 square miles, so filled with nature's works and wonders, there's never time to see them all. This is a place set aside from all others by its beauty, its wilderness, its sudden change in color, its peace and quiet. Glacier Park is 1,000,000 acres of mountains. It's an earth turned on end, 1,000,000 ups and 1,000,000 downs. It's the unexpected. It's a place where a man will look and then look again. Glacier has 1,000 waterfalls. They call it going to the sun, and they're right. People travel to Virginia City, once a roaring gold camp on Alder Gulch. This is where you'll hear the stories about the vigilantes and what they had to do, about Captain and Molly Slade, about Henry Plummer, sheriff, leader of the lawless, Clubfoot George Lane, and George Ives, Boone Helm, and Jack Gallagher. This was their town. Vacationers travel to the sun dances of the Indian people. The Crows are Sarakas, the Flatheads are Salish, the Blackfeet, Bloods, Pagon, the Gros Ventres, the Cheyenne, the Assiniboine, and Sioux. There are over 75 dude ranches in all kinds of Montana country. Dudes often fly in for many of the ranches of airstrips. It's a good way to see the country. We take a lot of pride in the way Montanans take the dudes out to their ranches. They're real friendly people, and they can make a stranger feel at home. Most of the activity at a dude ranch is out around the corral. Horses are still the best means of locomotion if you want to get out and see the country up close. Take your time and move quietly, and you'll see the animals that live around here. Take some time and go fishing. Fishing's a favorite sport with lots of people. The Madison is one of the most famous trout streams in the world, but there are others just as good. You can fish from one end of Montana to the other and back again, and never fish the same stream twice. Fishing's a time killer, all right, but it's a worry killer, too. You're never crowded, but if you really want to get off by yourself, fly back in where the rivers begin. We have cities, but over half of our people live on their own farms and ranches or in small towns that average about 250 people. They're spread out over a country bigger than Pennsylvania, Ohio, Illinois, and half of Kentucky. Montana's mighty big, and they're mighty independent people. One of the things they had to conquer was distance. When the airplane came along, they used it. Aside from Nevada and North Dakota, we have more planes for the number of people than any other state. Every summer, the Montana air marking crew is busy painting big yellow signs that face up to the sky. They give latitude and longitude and have an arrow pointing north. They tell a pilot the name of the nearest town and the nearest airport. Pilots flying over strange country welcome an air marker. They're road signs for the people who fly. The airplane is practical, too, because Montana's flying weather is good. We use our airplanes 330 to 340 days out of the year. We use them in all kinds of businesses and on all kinds of jobs. The airplane has solved a lot of problems for a lot of people. It's never more valuable than when it's used to save lives. Pilots and planes are always ready to go where help is needed. Doctors and nurses fly, and airplanes bring people into the towns and hospitals. These are known as mercy flights. No one knows how many Montanans have been helped this way. When it comes to getting everyday use out of an airplane, the rancher takes first place. Planes are popular with folks who can land and taxi right up to their back door. They use the airplane wherever their business takes them, to stop at the neighbors, to tend camp or take out a new hand, to check fences or to go into town to the store. Sometimes cattle stray away, but sometimes they're rustled. Men who enforce the law use the airplane. Sheriffs and their deputies keep an eye on ranges where cattle are missing. Suspicious-looking characters are watched. The men who manage wildlife use airplanes. They use them for counting game animals and trapping antelope. They find the herds and drive the antelope down between the wide wings of a trap. Along the High Line and all through the east, Montana is wheat ranch country. 6 million acres of land put to wheat. One of the wheat ranchers' problems is Russian thistle, the weed that crowds out the wheat. During June, July, and into August, the wheat ranchers use the airplane as a sprayer. Men in the business of aerial crop spraying bring their planes out to the ranches. These airplanes carry tanks and have a spray boom under each wing. They fill the tank with 2,4-D, the weed killer. Winter wheat and spring wheat in 2 wide belts. Sunburst to Hardin, from Cascade to Plentywood, across 2/3 of the state, wheat fields are sprayed from the sky, and the weeds turn brown and die. Long, clear days of late summer, the golden fields are ripe and ready. The wheat rancher is ready, too, ready to work sun up to sundown to get his harvest in. The total yield of hard, high-protein wheat is bigger by 1.5 million bushels because the weeds were sprayed with 2,4-D. Airplanes spray to kill insects as well as weeds. They spray grasshopper infestations with alga. Pilots, trained for their job, fly down over the field and let loose with a spray made for the bug. Grass on the rangeland, grass in the pasture, and the crops in the field are saved. Crop spraying is one of the most important uses of the airplane in Montana. Montana is a peaceful land. Early in the morning along the first part of July, the air is so still you move quiet-like around the camp wagon. Grass is wet with dew, but it's gone half an hour after the sun hits the land. The air is fresh and cool. Seems like all Montana belongs to the man who looks at it now. Every morning, sheep herders with their dogs and their horses ride out and move Montana's 3 million sheep off the bed grounds. This is a life that men have been following since Abraham and Isaac tended their flocks in Canaan. Horses are part of every cattle outfit. The cavvy goes along when there's work to be done, like trailing white faces to the shipping point. It may take 3 or 4 days, moving along nice and easy and keeping the cattle calmed down. Some of the bigger outfits ship 2,000 or 3,000 head. Everything's big out in the cattle country. The ranches, the land, the people. They're Montana people. They expect to take care of themselves, but they'll give the shirt off their back to the fellow who needs it.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is your rodeo show. Montana cowboys and cowgirls compete in the world's greatest rodeo event. These boys and girls compete in rodeos in every corner of Montana, in every corner of the West. Our local boys have become champion cowboys of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, many of these boys will not win today, but they'll give a good ride. When a cowboy is out there in the arena, he's on his own. There we go. This is the wild horse race, the wildest, toughest, roughest horse race in the world. This is the race where they put a saddle on a wild horse. Only some of the boys try to put the horse on the saddle. Some of the boys even get to ride a little ways. Let's give these cowboys a big hand.
Montana has 21 million acres of timber. Over western Montana, aircraft spray the forest for insects and brush. More timber is lost to insects and disease than to fire. Still, fire destroyed 2.5 million acres between 1910 and 1940. Then in 1940, smoke jumping was started. For the first time, fires in a primitive region could be stopped before they got out of control. The smoke jumpers suit up at the airport in Missoula. Their jumpsuits have a big pocket on the leg for the let-down rope, to be used if the jumper hangs up in a tree. Every jumper wears an emergency chute. Smoke jumper fires are spot fires, small fires only a few hours old. The spotter picks the jump spot, checks the wind, guides the pilot in on the final leg, then signals for the jump. They jump 2 at a time, then fly the course again. Missoula smoke jumpers have made over 4,000 jumps. They've jumped to 1,200 spot fires, and they've put the fires out. Montana is forest and mountains, calm and quiet, movement and color. Montana is all kinds of country, and all of it is big. Montana is people coming and going, and knowing there is no place that can't be reached by people who use the sky.